Hello, my name is Fela Kuti and you're watching my cover on Accelerate TV. I try not to put myself in a creative box by strict definition, but everything I do is sourced from something that I really believe in. It's sourced from what I think is valuable and what I think is important to me and useful to anybody else that listens to it. I think I've always been a deep thinker because I've been alone for a lot of my life. Not alone in terms of like not having family, but I'm not an outgoing person. So I spend a lot of my time, thinking and being conscious of myself, of my surroundings. And I've never worried about not having enough material to write about, not having enough ideas. Those are never really the things that plague me. What I am worried about sometimes is how, well received my ideas will be. That's a tough question. I think I always do the best I can at the time that I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't think I've ever felt like I'm giving less than 100%, given the conditions that I may be in at the time. And different phases of life have me at different levels of energy, at different levels of willingness to be able to do what I do. But I've always felt like no matter the circumstance, I'm doing the best that I can. My upbringing has always been about pushing at the forefront of my mind the values that I think are important. And one of those things is, of course, perfection, to the best that I can do it, given the situation that I may be in. As I was writing it, I was hoping that that would be the case, and having done that and having had the reception that I've had from the album that we released, it has had that impact on a lot of people, especially tracks like Free Your Mind and Your Enemy. And Free Your Mind is such a vague concept. I've defined it in the way that it means to me, but it's really open to interpretation. To whoever is in any position where they feel like freeing your mind is a concept that they think is important. I thought about it in the way that I did because education felt restrictive to me. And I thought that being able to seek knowledge beyond categories and academic structure was important to me. So I read a lot of books, history books, scientific books, philosophy. And through that I felt like I was discovering the things that I wanted to know. And that's what Freeing Your Mind was about to me. A lot of people think it's something more to do with like decadence, like just giving way to all kinds of restriction and just being free. And I'm fine with that, man. I'm fine with interpretation. Your Enemy being about police brutality, but understanding why police brutality occurs in a country like this, because it can't be sourced from racism. It's really a faulted society, a faulted system. So I think it's impactful from the way that I've received it. So yeah, I think it does, to answer your question. Honestly, I didn't dig deep in the character of any individual in the band. It was just important to me that they played the instruments that I wanted them to play. And after meeting them, I tell them the kind of values that were important to me in the band. For example, I can't work with anybody that doesn't believe in the music or doesn't think that what we're singing about or what we're trying to, put at the forefront of our message is irrelevant. So oftentimes we have, a lot of band meetings where I reintroduce what I'm about and what the band is about and what the music is about. And so far, you know, I think I've been very lucky to meet the people that I've met. It's been really good, it's been really progressive. That's hard to answer because I played with a band from before I started playing by myself. I was in my dad's band since I was about 5 years old, and I think it did diversify my sound generally, because you have a place in, you know, a whole sea of sound where you have one job or two jobs, and everything you do, you know, affects everybody else and how they deliver and how the band in its entirety delivers. So I felt like I belonged to a band, and that's what I think made me decide for myself that I would definitely be a band musician, be it leading my own band or being in a band myself. Because I like the connection, I like the human connection. I like the fact that everything is interactive, everything is live, mistakes happen, it's human. And I think that humanity in the arts is what is so important to deliver. So yeah, being in a band it's made me the kind of musician that I am. Everybody is exceptional. However, I do write everything myself. So from the keyboard parts to the horn lines, to the bass, to the guitar, to drums, percussion. I make it imperative that I write all my music. And it's the same for Fela, my father, and Okushewa as well. We're composers first, instrumentalists second. So everything we write is original and ours. But as far as, you know, exceptional skill in the musicians delivering our ideas, everyone is very great at that. Maybe. I've done a few collaborations already. I did one with Runtown. Mama Told Me. I did one with Kid Akud's Cherry Mango. One with the K-Men is about to drop. And a few others, but as far as something I compose being played on a Friday night, I'm not sure about that. I don't go to clubs myself, so it'd be weird if I make music for something that I don't do. But if the circumstances may arise that I decide to replicate music like that, and if I do, then maybe. Stylistically, no. Standard, I don't think of it as pressure. I think of it as, you know, just a standard. If something has been done to a certain level, even if the person, even if the person is not necessarily family or, you know, a relative. So it's really the idea of them being such capable musicians and having delivered into really the world art that hasn't been before them. And to be able to think of myself as a creative and understand what they have done. To think of doing anything less is almost chaotic. It's inhumane to want to do something worse than it has already been done. So I don't think of it as pressure. I think that they've set a very good standard musically, you know, ideologically, as human beings that sing about their environment. And if I care about my environment, then I learn from them. I learn from these great people. And of course, then my job is to do something, if not just as good, then better, in the way that I can do it, but not in a competitive way, just in a way that they would want as well, that they've set a standard musically. How can it go forward from here? What has my contribution been to this world in that it can create advancement? In that sense. So no pressure, but I do think I have it as a responsibility as a musician to understand what has been, what is, and where I can take it. not pressure, more like creative responsibility. No, because just as with my family, I'm really just inspired by everything that has been. Luckily, I'm an educated musician, so I have a historical knowledge of music that is African and not African. Furthering, I think anything I do is furthering Afrobeat, because almost no matter what I do will be categorized as Afrobeat, whether I like it or not. So I've understood that, and I've understood myself in knowing that I love Afrobeat music. And really, almost like breathing, there's nothing I can do that won't be influenced by Afrobeat. And I consciously then make the effort to break standards and rules that, again, as an educated musician, I know is typical of Afrobeat, and work those techniques in my favor to do what I want to do. So no matter what I do, I always think of it as furthering Afrobeat, not necessarily as, not a growth pattern as forward per se, but more of a spread, that there's ideas and corners that have not necessarily been done before. I don't think art is always, I don't think it's linear. Almost definitely corruption. I think we're one of the peoples in this great nation and great continent that are guaranteed to be honest in those areas. Why? I don't know. We've been like this for a while. My upbringing is very strict in those terms. Lies are not told in the household. We're very honest people amongst ourselves. Our values are very straightforward and uncomplex. So when we carry ourselves from our house into society, we really are just being ourselves. Everything has its positives and negatives, but in my family, there's definitely, in my family, in the generation that I've been born in, there are far more positives than negatives. There are a few things that you don't like, but there are far more things that are lucky to have. I don't go out. I don't meet people, and the only time I do is, say, when I have a gig or an event somewhere, and even then I don't really meet people. So I don't know what you're talking about. That would be my partner right now. I think personality is more important than appearance. However, she is a model, but that's not important. It's the personality, and it's the fact that I've known her for, I think now, 12 years, and we've dated for a year. And in that time, I've realized that the person that I'm with, despite both of us having flaws, has so many great attributes. She is genuinely loving, she's genuinely creative, she's genuinely kind. The kind of genuine personality that I can intentionally try to dissect and not find flaws because it's real. And to have that, I understand that I'm lucky, but I know that she's lucky as well because I have that level of genuineness as well. So to be able to partner with someone where honesty is key, our direction is mutual, the overall nuance of vibe and everything is great, and for her to be a model is very nice. My views on love, I think, are family orientated. I think love is absolute if it's what you claim it is, and that if you can think of spending the rest of your life with someone, and the things that you put first are things like the idea of how you'd raise your children, what you'd like your children to be, and your conversations are about how life would be like in old age, and you think about the future, and you're not bothered by the past, and you're not misdirected by the present, but everything that comes after is what intrigues you and interests you. And in everything that you think about the future, that person is there with you in the same way that she is with you now, or he is with you now. And if those feelings are real, and you think of that person as family, then that's what I think is love. Absolutely, and again, I'm very lucky to have that. I'm very lucky to have that because I've always had a lot of questions. So I'm very happy that they've been answered. And answered honestly, when you don't have the answer, it's nice to have a parent that says, I don't know. You have to figure that out by yourself. So giving you some weird worldview that he or she doesn't actually agree with. So my dad has always been 100% honest with me. And to be able to, even today, sit down and be able to ask him for advice and know that it's unfiltered and it's not biased. It's not because he wants me to think a particular way, but it's really about the context of the idea or the problem that I'm asking him. That's what he's trying to solve, not to try and direct me or steer me in a particular way. He's always been 100% honest with me. And that's what I try to be with everybody else and my partner. My dad now has, other than myself, about 7 other children. Now with 3 boys and 3 girls and 3 brothers that are not blood. And we're such a very, very tight family. And I've seen him advise my sisters, and I know for a fact that if anything, he treats them better than he treats us. So as far as honesty and open conversations go, I think it's just his personality. And I know for a fact that it really doesn't matter who he's talking to, which is why he probably doesn't talk to a lot of people, because a lot of people can't handle the truth. And they think, and the idea of having a conversation that is unfiltered is weird to me, because it's either honest or dishonest. So words like unfiltered it diminishes the idea of truth. So yeah, I'm saying honesty is 100% important. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you can be honest with someone and still not be able to protect them. I don't want to lie. A lot of my questions are that I do ask myself or generally are self-involved. It's really about myself. I think the problem with Lagos and Lagosians and the Nigerian character in its entirety is that there's not a lot of self-criticism. People don't look at themselves and find faults. They don't try and improve themselves. Everything is very outward. So it's about, that guy that did this, or this driver that did that, and nobody thinks and says, how could I have handled this? I think we just need to think of ourselves. We need to ask ourselves, what am I really doing to this person that I'm in a relationship with? Am I being the best partner that I can be? Am I being as honest as I can be? Do I truly love this person? Do I truly love myself? Do I like what I'm doing? Is what I'm doing having a positive or negative effect on the person that I'm with? What kind of father or mother am I? Am I raising my child with the kind of experiences that I've lived through? Am I forcing my ideas on them, or am I letting them be who they want to be? Am I afraid? And am I letting that fear dictate what their lives should be like? Or am I honestly looking at them as, opportunities and balls of hope that can become whatever they want to be? What kind of boss am I? What kind of employee am I? What kind of driver am I? What kind of carpenter am I that I've designed a roof and the roof is leaking. It's really about self-analyzing, and I think the moment we do that, and school teaches us to do that, where it's not really about competition and trying to be better than the person next to you, but being the best version of yourself that you can be, I think for the first time ever since the colonial era, Nigerians will actually be able to taste happiness. My name is Kuti. Thank you for watching my cover on Accelerate TV.